Yo, welcome back, everybody. It's another day. The day ends in Y, and we got patch notes again. Because that's what we got this week. Blizzard is trickle feeding us all of the information for the upcoming patch. So today we have not one, but two more tribes. Mechs and demons to go through. So without any further ado, if you're looking for just this information, once again, as always, link for just this document is below in the details, or you can just go to Discord and all the information's there. But if you want to hear about the patch, just stick around because we're going to go through everything. Anyway, Mechs is what we're starting with. Would start with trinkets like I did the last day, and I'm going to do for demons, but there's a lot of changes in the mech core minions, and without understanding what the minions are, it's kind of hard to describe a trinket. So we're going to start with the minions today, including, squint's really hard to look at this one. This PogoHopper looking thing has plus 3/2 for each other ancestral automaton you've summoned this game. Interesting. The more automatons you summon, keyword being summon, the bigger this minion is. It's just an aura effect. Think of it like the Frigid Frostling, the elemental card. For every elemental you've played so far this game, it gets a 1/1 permanent persistent aura effect. Now, how do we get a lot of these guys played, you might ask? Well, look at Prosthetic Hand directly beside. Our brand new mech magnetic minion, giving reborn to a mech. You can see where this is going, right? You play Ancestral Automaton on the board, and it gets a 3/2 aura up buff. It dies, comes back, and guess what? It has another 3/2 aura buff. Comes back even bigger than before. And better yet, that buff is permanent because minions summoned in combat are still minions that have been summoned this game. So you start the next buy phase, and now Ancestral Automaton is even bigger, and even bigger, and even bigger gradually over time. Pair that with trinkets, pair that with the reborn effects, pair that with Terran hero power, whatever it might be, and suddenly this thing's going to be real big. Building a couple big automatons that reborn into more big automatons, and then maybe respawn in different ways, is kind of looking like it could be a build around strategy. To further go through and get exactly what the minion types are in the game, we might as well just look at the changed and returning minions. That way we have a full scope, and then we can go back to the trinkets. Boombot's making a return, and for good reason. It's got some support. Anoya Maja going down the Tavern 3 Greasebot, getting a disgusting version of itself being added back to the game. Low Tavern tier 4-star Greasebot has Divine Shield and has the permanent scaling, but it's only 1/1 per Divine Shield lost. Remember, this card was absolutely nutty for a time period where this was a 6-star and gave a plus 2/2 buff. Whenever a minion lost Divine Shield, it gained a 2/2 permanently. It can get out of hand if you can get too many Greasebot type effects going on, because Divine Shield minions gaining 1/1 is a lot better than non-Divine Shield minion getting 1/1. And better yet, if that minion is a Deflectobot or Divine Shield Cleave or something like that, man, it's like 3/3, 4/4, 5/5 stats effectively for every 1/1 that you give it. Kangors. Wait a second. I'm seeing a connection. Automaton, reborn it, have it die, spawn a couple more with the Kangors line. Oh baby, it's gonna be cute. That's a lot of automatons being spawned and a lot of scaling per turn. This might be a little bit too strong in its original form, but to be determined. It's very hard to gauge balance when you don't have the entirety of the patch notes displayed in front of you. And better yet, having played 0 games in the meta. And Mechadraxus makes a return. I have one big question with Mechadraxus. With this card being added back to the game, does that mean that the 3 magnetic minions that are generated off of Mechadraxus are now available to be pulled by, say, for example, the Tavern spell? Or not? Because looks at module, looks at new magnetic, looks at removing replicating menace, and Ziliax, we just lost a magnetic from the pool. And the fewer magnetics that exist in the pool, the easier it is to triple the rest of the magnetics. And when magnetics are really easy to triple, Beatboxer is a scary prospect. Put one magnetic down on the board, put a bunch of magnets on top of that one, wait for it to triple, pick it back up, put it down, pick it back up, put it down, pick it back up, you know where it's going. Beatboxer lines are pretty one-dimensional. And with these, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say augments. Trinkets. With trinkets as a system, there's even more support to be able to play these kind of things. Anyway, Ziliax gone, Replicate Menace gone, Murgle gone, Gift Horse, no, Beasts in Shambles, and Untamable. All right, to the top. Now we talk about the interesting stuff. Lesser Trinkets for Mechs. Charging Staff. At the end of each turn, give your Divine Shield minions 4 attack. I said interesting, not boring attack scaling. The fuck is this? All right, it's really good still, right? Like, attack on Mechs is way better than attack on other tribes. Divine Shield minions like Deflectobots getting to like 100, or at least like big glass cannon type board states can counter very, be very difficult to counter and counter a lot of boards that exist out there. Pair that with a Greater Trinket, which we haven't seen yet, and suddenly you're looking at boards that are going to be very hard to counter with stats. It's going to be death rattles to beat it, or you're not beating it. Anyway, Blingtron Sunglasses, 3 gold after you summon a mech. In combat, give a friendly mech Divine Shield. Oh. So I can see why Horse was removed. Any mech that summons a mech gives a random mech on the board Divine Shield. So we're just going to be like, everything's the Deflectobot now? Okay, pretty cool. Glowing Gauntlet, minions in the tavern have +3/3. Is there more card text on the back of the trinket? Where's the rest of the trinket? 4 gold for this garbage? Put that back in the trash. I don't want this. I mean, didn't we just have one yesterday? That was the elemental one. That was when you reroll 3 times, permanently increase the stats of all minions in the tavern by 1/1. What's this garbage? I mean, I get stats on mech are better than stats on other tribes, but like, it's not everybody playing mechs in the game. This seems garbage. I don't know. We'll see. Automaton Portrait. Hey, wait a second. That's that new card, the PogoHopper. Get an Ancestral Automaton. Cool. And at start of combat, summon an additional Ancestral Automaton. Oh, so like every turn, you're going to get all your Ancestral Automatons scaled by 3/2 just because you summoned one in combat. And now you could have an additional one on the board if you don't, not triggering a triple or whatever. You could just have 2 regular Automatons. And then another one spawn too. Give them both reborn, and suddenly you're scaling at a rate of at least 3 times 3/2 per turn without cards like Baron and Kangors and like, duplication effects. All right. I see where that line's going. That looks pretty cool. Fishy sticker. This might as well just read, everybody is N'Zoth. Summon a fish in N'Zoth that copies death rattles. Yay, everybody gets to be N'Zoth this patch. And Kaboombot Portrait. Your Kaboombots deal 8 extra damage. Oh, and get a Kaboombot. I see. Remember Kaboombot? I can see a Kangor's Baron Boombot Ghoul type Exodia line coming back. Maybe. Seems a little limited compared to Beatbox or Omega Buster, but still, could be pretty good. Greater Trinkets. Fridge Magnet, 3 cost. Avenge 3, get a random magnetic minion. This is why the Mechadraxus question, right? It isn't that hard to build a board full of random minions that die. And if every 3 of them are giving you a magnetic, and there's only, 4 magnetic minions in the pool? 1 gives you extra gold per turn, 1 gives you Divine Shield, 1 gives you 1/1. Which other one am I missing? The Death Rattle one's gone. The new Reborn one. Is there another magnetic I'm missing? Ziliax is gone. There's 4? Ew. This is Beatboxer's dream. We're just going to be printing magnets that triple into magnets that triple into magnets that triple. There's even a spell that generates magnets per turn. Okay, this might be absolutely fucking busted, actually. This might be the most busted thing ever. Depends on how they do it. Could be that they saw that and they said, okay, well, the Mechadraxus minion spawn has 3 new eligible magnets. We can get those as well off of the fridge magnet, and then it'd be a lot more balanced. To be determined how busted this is. Boom Controller. When you have space, summon an exact copy of the first mech that died each combat. Oh yeah, but we also brought back Wind Fury Cleave on Mechadraxus. I forgot about that. The magnetic minion can give Wind Fury, Reborn, or Taunt. And the Wind Fury one could give it to Cleave Mech. Ooh, Mechs can be spicy. Boom controller. When you have space, summon an exact copy of your first mech that died each combat. All right, so big mech dies, respawn big mech. Kind of like a delayed evil twin. Seems good. Also going to make Bramble Witch an even better tech card, and it was already looking to be really good against elementals. And upcoming for demons, because you see what tavern buffing is kind of like in the elemental tribe. And now mechs also potentially. You see somebody with boom controller, because you can cursor over people in the game and see what artifact they have, which trinket they have, whatever the word is. And you see boom controller, you're like, ah, Bramble Witch. Telegraphing what you're doing. And if it's not the taunted minion, then how are you going to get it to die first? Can't have any other mechs on the board, I guess. Maybe you just run one mech. One big deflecto, nothing else for it. Charging Staff Tier 2 gets 7 attack at the end of the turn to Divine Shield minions. Glowing Gauntlet Tier 2 is a 7/7 to all minions in the shop. These are really unremarkable trinkets, but once again, stats on mechs are always good. Golden Fishy sticker is Golden Fish. These are all just like upgraded versions of the original ones. And Mechagon Adapter. After a friendly mech loses Divine Shield, give it Divine Shield. Up to 3 times. So 3 extra Divine Shields for your Divine Shield minions. I hear you like Divine Shields, so we got some Divine Shields for your Divine Shields. Wait a second. Enhance. Enhance. What is this? I think one of the interns forgot to change the art. Yep, somebody's going to get a talking to. Look at this work in progress. Anyway, that's mechs. That's it. Plain and simple. Mechs, pretty straightforward. Beatboxer and brand new line introduced, along with a lot of support for play big magnetics, play Divine Shield. Divine Shield mech building around Greasebot and Deflectobot. Death Rattle oriented stuff with Kangors, Kaboombot, sticker, and then also the new Automaton build, which is probably going to be one of the best builds in the game, judging by just how ridiculous that can scale with the concept of giving it reborn off of magnetics, and then having Kangors potentially even bringing it back multiple times. Hide Kangors, hide Baron, taunt up the Ancestral Automatons, have them die. They can't even be Bramble Witched because they're an aura effect. Give them Divine Shields, put them in the front, throw a buffer unit in there, then go Kangors, or bringing them back again and again and again and again. That's scaling and that's tempo. Put both of them in the same composition and you got a real powerhouse for the meta. Anyway, we have 2 parts to this patch reveal because they gave us 2 tribes today. Demons as well, but demons will be a little bit quicker probably than mech because, well, we've seen this before. Demon Blood Gourd, dual tribe with elementals. We explained this one yesterday. You get a spellcraft spell in your hand, you target a minion on your board, it eats something in the shop. Tavern buffing, make bigger minion on board. Nodders. Me make big minion good. Darnassus Pie. Hey, look, we had that one yesterday too. Minions in the tavern have +1/1 for each minion you've sold this turn. All right. Still seems kind of lackluster, but, you know, good for demons, good for Ellies. Dollar on Cheese Wheel. Wait a second, I've seen this one too. Zoom out so you can see the whole card art. Wait a moment, these are the same as the Ellie ones. This one just is a way better Darnassus Pie. Minions in the tavern have +1/1, upgrades every 3 times you refresh. Alright, so roll times, Recycling Wraith, Malkazar, whatever it might be. Roll a bunch, get extra stats in the tavern. Glowing Gauntlet. Wait a minute. Why are these all repeats? Demons doesn't even get anything fun. Fellblood Portrait. Wait a minute. Demons are over here like, why did everyone else get fun things? I guess it's just mostly the fact that we covered the other 2. It's not like we could have done this one first and we would have done it the first time here. And elementals would feel like they repeated a bunch of the stuff. There's just a lot of overlap between elementals and demons. Rewinder Portrait. All right. Well, Fellblood is still absurdly broken. If you didn't watch the patch review for the Elemental Day, we talked about this one a lot more in that time period. Yeah, that's a lot of scaling. Fiery Fellblood being Death Rattle, give your shop +2/2. Slimy Fellblood being Battlecry, give it 2/2. Stacks with Rylak, stack with Baron, stack with Bran, stack with Macaw, Reborn, all that kind of type of stuff. This gets out of hand real quick. Speaking of which, I missed something. I missed a patch note. I was going to talk about this one before. I forgot. Prosthetic Hand is undead. Undead mech. We now have a way, we'll talk about this more once we get undead as a tribe, but we have a way to reborn everything as an undead minion without having to go through like multi-card combos to give it reborn. Every undead minion in the game can just be given a magnetic reborn now onto the minion. I forgot about that. Too bad you can't do it Fellblood. Not like it needs any help. And last but not least, Rewinder Portrait. Get a Soul Rewinder and a Wrathweaver. Your Soul Rewinders also gain attack. So basically self-damage demons in a nice little enclosed space. Not only that, but Soul Rewinder gets upgraded, so it's basically Floating Watcher. Nice. Nice. Self-scaling, big-ass Soul Rewinder, along with Wrathweaver. Get Malkazars, get self-damage stuff. Let's see if there's anything else that goes along with it. Nether Pendant. Minions in the tavern have +1/1. Upgrades every 4 times your hero takes damage. Kind of a hybrid there, huh? Now you have buff the tavern, but also self-damage stuff. Kind of need the stars to align for that to be a good board, right? Early in the game, you get like Rewinder Portrait or just find like Rewinder Wrathweaver. You play tempo, then you get turn 9 Nether Pendant, and then you start scaling the tavern at that point. Man, that's really late to start scaling the tavern. Maybe you get something early that's like Cheese Wheel and you start scaling early and this just accelerates it. But most of the time that you're doing like tavern buffing, you're not trying to do Wrathweaver, Floating Watcher, or whatever. Feels like they're 2 lines that don't really intersect too hard. Not to mention the fact that it's only 1/1 buff every 4 times you take damage. So it's like 4 rerolls with Malkazar or minions cycled through. Honestly, this feels like a lesser trinket, not a greater trinket. That's not a lot of power. Cool, good. In the right place, it's going to be solid, but like, some of these don't feel as, they feel whelming. Not overwhelming, not underwhelming, just like, eh. Maybe a little closer to underwhelming than overwhelming. Darnassus Pie Tier 2, we covered this one before. Cycle minions, get big buff in tavern temporarily. Consume the stats or buy the minions. Big glowing hand. Great. Seems even worse on demons than it was on mechs, and it seemed meh on mechs. Big glowing cheese wheel. Man, there's a lot of repeats in demons, aren't there? And Fellbat Portrait. Here we go. That's something new. Get a famished Fellbat. Your tavern always has 7 cards. Now, if you remember old Arana, you remember what this is going to be like. This is kind of a twofold thing. Number one, no matter what tavern tier you're on, you always fill the tavern with minions. So that's cool if you're low tavern tier. But also, Fellbat can eat more than 6 minions from the shop now. Because your tavern always having 7 cards means it fills after you eat a spot. So you can run Fellbat on a 7-unit board and eat 7 times. You can run Drukhari on a Fellbat board and eat 12 times. 6 demons and double into turn effects. You could theoretically get the spell and have 7 demons and eat 14 times. You could have Golden Drukhari and so on and so forth. You know, you see where we're going here. Exceeding the limitation of the number of times that you can eat. Very good for Fellbat. Find a way to buff the tavern, eat a billion things with Fellbat, make big board. 3 new minions. Pilgrim. 4-star 3/4, 1 demon. Each turn costs health instead of gold. Alright, more self-damage synergies. Seems really good if you have the immunity, and seems really bad if you don't. Demons has always felt awkward like that. You're so married to Soul Rewinder. Depraved Fellfin. After you discover a minion, 5-star. After you discover a minion, give stats or gain the stats of your other options. Alright, so get a triple, gain like a 20/20. Gain a triple and buy the weakest thing, get even more stats. Get a patient scout, gain a couple of stats. Discover demons, there's a couple things there. There's like Scourfin, or not Scourfin, Primal Fin. Golden Monkeys for triples with Elise. I mean, it's a lot of stats if you get Discover Effects, right? Go find Discover Effects. There's the spells that are Discover a Buddy or Discover a minion of your tribe. And you could just get like 10 10s, 15 15s, or whatnot from that. But the one that I think is the most exciting about this, I haven't been able to talk with anybody on this one yet. So I get to share it with you guys first right now. Isn't this just breaking Bigglesworth? Doesn't this just break Cat? Because don't you just go get Felfins, wait out the game, people die, and you're like, I'll take the little one. And then the Felfins go, woohoo! And gain all of the stats of the big minions that are on your opponent's boards. I feel like this is insanely busted on Cat. Yeah, you still gotta live. You gotta do the Bigglesworth curve. Don't die, don't die, don't die, win lobby. But like, just have a couple of these things chilling on your board. Your opponent dies, they have a bunch of 50-50s. You just select the smallest of the 3 units and then take like a 90-90 buff to all of your Felfins. Yeah, okay. Sounds great. Might not be a billion stats, but oftentimes is a ton, right? I feel like this is busted on Bigglesworth. That's my favorite prediction out of the set so far is Demon Murlocs means Bigglesworth is great. To be fair, it's a 5-star and your Bigglesworth with no hero power. But it seems really good. Anyway, Mirage Conjurer, 5-star, 4/4. Choose one, double the attack of minions in the tavern, or double their health. Alright, well that has to be temporary, right? There is no way in hell there is a natural minion that doubles the stats permanently of the minions in the shop. Because you would just be able to cycle and stack them and then go 2 to the 2nd, 2 to the 3rd, 2 to the 4th, 2 to the 5th, 2 to the 6th. And it's exponential scaling. It's way too good for consume effects. So we just got to assume that this is a one-time only type of deal, which is cool because you just kind of use 2 gold to cycle it through. And then when you're going to consume a bunch of stuff from the shop, you just get twice as much from the shop. Cool. Cool. Seems good. Seems very good, actually. Seems like a reason to be on Tavern 5, especially if you have like Fellbat or a couple false implicators, something like that from the shop, because once you get a little bit of Tavern buff, doubling the effect into the shop is actually really strong for very cheap. Changed and returning minions, we've already covered Mechadraxus, but also Keyboard Igniter. Brought back as a 2/2 buff, but also deals damage now to your hero. So more self-damage synergy. Great if you have the Soul Rewinder, awful if you don't. Interesting. That's a double deal damage to yourself type of unit if you have Wrathweaver on the board too. More ways to ping yourself, more ways to move off or to synergize with that. Speaking of the self-damage synergy, Floating Watcher is gone, Aranasi is gone, and Felbor is gone. Aranasi, no more meme machine gun ping self-damage ghoul compositions. No, it wasn't very good, but it was funny. And Felbor would be pretty nasty, to be fair. Kind of can't exist in the game as long as there are quests that look like this. Or I should say trinkets that look like this. Quest is the wrong word. Dalaran, Cheese Wheel, and Felbor, they don't mix. You can't just reroll the board, have infinite stats in the tavern, and need it repeatedly. Anyway, you can do it with Felbats. That's a 6-star at least. That's it. That covers it. 2 tribes down in less than 25 minutes. Look at that. Rapid fire our way through this shit. Anyway, we will be back again tomorrow with, I believe there's 2 more tribes once again released there. We're get about halfway through the tribal releases. Dear God, Blizzard, you stretched this patch reveal season out pretty hard, didn't you? All the way through the middle of next week. At which point we'll have all the information and I'll do like a video on ranking all of the predictions and ranking or whatever on all of the trinkets. That'll be a good time. And then we get the playtest on Monday the 19th and the patch goes live for everybody on Tuesday the 20th. All right, that's it. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another set of fun new minions coming to BGs. Oh, and trinkets. That's the name, trinkets. Peace.